What is going on, everyone? My name is Jared Haas, joined by Steve LeFew at Road America, standing on the old Victory Lane outside of the track. And boy, oh boy, did we see a barn burner out here. Justin Allgaier looked like the dominant car, and then the final restart happening. Multiple cars taking the lead, one corner after another. It was very chaotic.
Those last two laps in double overtime were unreal. It reminded me of the Watkins Glen race years ago with Marcus Ambrose and Brad Keselowski. Trading the lead back and forth, people running over the corners. What a finish.
I mean, it was a finish as well, too. And one of the big contenders early on during this race, he won the pole here, was a favorite, was A.J. Allmendinger. Had the lead early on, but suffered some brake issues, even was involved in a wreck late, but somehow he finished in 9th position in a car that was pretty torn up. I mean, talk about the determination and grit that A.J. Allmendinger had to go to get even a top 10 here.
He was the star of the weekend, and he was here to win, but he fought through electrical issues. He really had to fight through to earn that 9th place finish.
Absolutely, and Allmendinger was not the only colleague car to have brake issues. Chandler Smith with a hard wreck going into turn one, and even Alex Labbe, unrelated to colleague racing, had a hard wreck as well as too. Talk about the brake issues that happened that plagued colleague cars and Alex Labbe.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Coming up the front stretch, going 170, 180, and the brakes just fall apart, and you have to turn it into the wall to try to scrub off speed. And I believe Chandler Smith hit the wall at about 170, so it's pretty scary going into turn one there.
Absolutely. That's the worst nightmare. And Chandler Smith said he's had his throttle struck and, he's had his brakes go out. He'd rather have his throttle stuck than the brakes go out, too. Steve, I want to take one moment here. What's your one takeaway? What one person that stood out to you at this Road America race?
For me, it's got to be Sage Karam, a guy who has not made a ton of NASCAR Xfinity starts, trying to do full-time racing, and he had the lead on the second to last lap, very close to a win, went off track near the end, still salvaged a 4th place finish, his career best.
And I got to give the boot to Riley Herbst, a really up and down day, involved in multiple wrecks, but still managed to get points, and I think even a top 5 finish that he got. With those cut line deals, that's an important day because Parker Kligerman finished second. Parker Kligerman did gain ground, but there's still a lot of ground to gain up. So Riley Herbst, hats off to the number 98 team for persevering throughout the race, dealing with spinning and wrecking multiple times to win. Well, this will do it here for Jared Haas here and Stephen LeFew from Frontstretch.com. We're going to throw it over to the guys in Richmond for the Truck Series race. Hopefully can get in tonight. Thunder has been an issue, but from now until then, as always, have a great race weekend and make sure to subscribe.
Thanks, Jared and Steve at Road America. My name is Trey Lyle. Joining with me is Adam Cheek and Michael Massey, all of us from Frontstretch.com, here to react to a very interesting and very ever-changing Truck Series race here at Richmond. The playoff field is set. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, let's talk about the tire strategy at the end of this race. It seems to be the theme here at Richmond. We'll probably see it tomorrow in the Cup race. It comes true here in the truck race. Ty Majeski, the dominant car of the day. He had a speeding penalty and was still too fast for everyone else and passed through the field and looked like he was going to win. Tire strategy ultimately pays out for Carson Hocevar, who passes Ty with 4 laps to go and gets the win. Adam, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, it's been a very interesting day. First, we had everyone in the media center reacting to the Road America race chaos, and then we had one of the more fascinating truck races I think I've seen in a long time here, because you have these two mirror images of these comebacks. Carson is slicing through the field. Ty Majeski slicing through the field. Ty gets a speeding penalty, and he is flying. That truck was insane tonight. I think our former employee Davey Siegel asked him if this was the fastest thing he's ever had, and he said it was. But Ty's carving through the field and gets up near the front, and then the pit stop start, and then Carson's the one trying to chase down Ty, and Carson gets the job done. This is going to be a great season for that 42 team. It has been, and I think the playoffs are going to be a huge threat. It reminded me a lot of Denny versus Byron last spring in Cup. Just this pure strategy playing out on track, nothing really to interrupt it, and it was just fascinating to watch.
Yeah, ultimately, Ty not able to capitalize. So close to getting his first win on the season. He was comfortable making the playoffs anyways tonight. He finishes second, so he still has some things to build on as he heads into the postseason. But speaking of guys who make in the postseason, well, coming in, it looked like maybe a battle between Matt Crafton and Stuart Friesen. Stuart Friesen did not show up tonight. We're still looking for him. Matt Crafton had a really good night for him. Matt DiBenedetto and Nick Sanchez, I would say, did enough to make the playoffs. Those are the other two guys that were around that cut line. But ultimately, the truck playoff field is set, and the guys above the cut line stayed there and did what they needed.
Yeah, you said we're still looking for Stuart Friesen. He was supposed to come by and see the media after for being the first guy out. Didn't see him there either, so where are you, Stewie? Where are you, Stu? But, yeah, just bad race for them. You know it's got to be disappointing. Good break for Matt Crafton. He was pretty fast tonight. Him, Nick Sanchez, they did what Matt DiBenedetto really got done last week, but these guys got it done tonight to really solidify their way. Jake Garcia was a guy that had to win to get in. He gave him a little bit of a run for your money. There was a point where he worked his way up to the top 5, but he ended up finishing 4th with that strategy at the end. But, he just didn't have anything for that Ty Majeski truck, that Carson Hocevar truck. So, but still, career night for him. And then, of course, Corey Heim, he was well in, but he clinched the regular season title tonight despite missing a race. Think about that. He spotted the whole field, one race of points, and he still won the regular season title. If that ain't a championship favorite, I don't know what is.
I was just about to talk about Corey Heim. The championship in the regular season was clinched tonight, and he spotted a race. He has to be the clear favorite, but I think you also have to consider Carson Hocevar, Zane Smith maybe is the top 3. Christian Eckes is surprisingly kind of flying under the radar. He had a fast truck tonight and ultimately finished in the top 10 and had a good night as well. I think that might be your clear top 4 heading into the playoffs, which they'll next be at IRP in a few weeks. For Michael Massey, for Adam Cheek, I'm Trey Lyle. We'll have coverage all weekend here at Richmond Raceway. 3 guys from the Commonwealth, from the Richmond area, celebrating their home track. And the second race of the season in the Cup Series is tomorrow on Sunday. We'll have coverage for you there as well.
Hey everyone, Zane Smith, driver number 38-4 for Front Row Motorsports. Be sure to subscribe to Frontstretch on YouTube.